Hello everybody, it's Daryl. How you guys doing today? And today we're going to be working on the 2008 Mercury Mariner Hybrid, which is the same as the Ford Escape and Mazda Tribute. And this is the second generation 08-09 model, are essentially the same with a few differences. But we're having a little trouble with the air conditioning. Air conditioning is vitally important on the hybrids. If your air conditioning goes out and the temperature gets high, your battery will overheat, which will cause the car to go into limp mode and you won't be able to drive it. So, yeah, any kind of hybrid cars, they just won't function properly if your AC isn't working the way it's supposed to. And I've been lucky so far. Last summer, the fuse blew a couple times. I replaced the fuse, and it lasted a couple more months before the fuse blew again. What we know so far is the fuse is blowing out, and it's the fuse under the hood in the power distribution box. So we're going to pop the hood open and we're going to show you that. Power distribution box is behind the air cleaner right here, and we're going to lift up on a little tab on the front and pop it out, lift it up in the back, pull that right on out. And the fuse for the air conditioner is this blue one right here. It's the, if you start the front row of fuses, the third one over from the left. Now it's supposed to be a 10 amp. I popped a 15 in there to see if it would last any longer when I started up and turned the air on, and it did not. It blew almost immediately. We can see the gap in it right there. So what we're going to do, we're going to do two different tests here, because there's two different common causes that can cause that fuse to blow immediately like that. One is the air conditioning relay, which is going to be one of these relay boxes here, little relay modules. 1, 2, 3. There's like 7 mini relay modules here, and it's probably good. It could be one of those, or it could be one of the diodes. In the very back corner on the left side back here, there are 2 diodes. One of those could have failed, and we're gonna pull those out. We're gonna look in the owner's manual, figure out which one of those relays is for the air conditioning and which diode is for the air conditioning, and we're gonna check those, and I'll show you how to do it. Alright, number 32 in the back left corner is a diode. You can see by the special mark on top, that's not a fuse, that's a diode. Now we checked this with the digital multimeter. It actually has a diode test setting, and the results came back 0 one way and 0.52 on the other side, which I believe signifies that this is a good diode. Yep, I pulled the other one out for the PCM, which I know works because the car is running fine, and they both read exactly the same. So we're going to put the diodes back in, and we're going to assume that those are good because they measure the same. The diodes have a little notch cut into one side on the bottom, so they only fit in one way, because the purpose of the diode is to manage the flow of the electricity so it only flows in one direction. Now we're going to check the relay. There's a bunch of these mini relays here, and the ones I pointed to the first time, these big ones here, are not the ones for the AC. The one for the AC is this one right here in front, which is what they call, I think they call a mini relay. We're going to pull that out because I can't get it with my fingers. We're going to use a little pair of pliers here to help remove that. Put you down for a minute. Alright, we have pulled the air conditioning relay out. Now we're going to go to the back behind those medium-sized relays. There are 4 mini relays back there. We're going to get the front one on the left, which is for the backup lights. And we're going to pull that one out and swap it with the one for the AC and see if there's a problem with either one of those. Alright, we've swapped the relays out, and the backup lights are still working, which is a bad sign, because that means that that relay is probably not bad. So we left them swapped out. We're going to put a different fuse in and start the car up, but I have every reason to believe that the car will probably blow the fuse immediately. And I was right, the fuse immediately blew. AC compressor clutch wiring may have a short in it somewhere. So I'm going to need to get under there and find a wire that clips onto the side of the air compressor pump for the air conditioning, and follow that along and see if it's got a rub mark through it or if it's shorted out to either the frame or another wire somewhere. So the next step is going to be to pull the wire off of the AC compressor mechanism. And once we disconnect the wire, we will put a fresh fuse in the fuse box, start it up and turn the air on, and see whether or not the fuse blows. If the fuse still blows with the air compressor disconnected, then we know there's a short somewhere between where the connector goes on to the compressor and the fuse box, somewhere in the line. If the fuse does not blow with the compressor disconnected, then we know that the problem is actually with the compressor itself, and most likely the electronic coil that engages the compressor clutch has either shorted out or failed. It didn't blow the fuse with it disconnected, and I didn't see anything that indicated the wires were worn anywhere. So now you know how to check the clutch coil to see if it's bad or not by pulling the wire off of the compressor. And actually you don't need to get underneath the car and put it up on ramps. If you pull the trim cover off of the top right here, you can reach down right down there to reach the wire for the compressor. So there you go, how to diagnose a possible failure in your compressor clutch coil. And a reminder, we're going to replace the magnetic coil clutch for that. And I believe that has shorted out. That's probably the problem why we're blowing fuses. And we're going to give it our best shot here and see if we can get this done. I don't think it's a big job, and I believe we can do it with the air compressor still mounted on the car without emptying out the refrigerant on it. And we're going to try. I haven't been able to find any videos like this online, so you know, this could be a first, you guys. So this could be some good tips here for you. But first thing we're going to do is we chock the rear wheels. We got our jack, I pushed up on here, floor jack up on here. I'm going to lift this right front corner of the car up, remove the wheel so we have more room to work, and then behind the wheel there's a bunch of plastic splash guarding in front of the air compressor. We're going to remove all that so we can get to easily to the air compressor and have the room to work on the front of it. And then we're going to open the hood so we can release the serpentine belt and unloop it from the bottom air compressor pulley or the crankshaft pulley, wherever we can unloosen it the easiest without taking it all the way off. Unless it looks like it's damaged, then we'll replace it while we're here. But I believe that once we take the belt off, get the guarding all moved away, there'll be one bolt in the center of the air compressor clutch that we take off that'll remove the clutch assembly. Then a snap ring should allow us to remove the belt pulley, and once that's off, another snap ring should allow us to pull off the clutch assembly. So that's the step-by-step. Let's see how this actually goes down, shall we? Alright, under the hood, the first thing you're going to want to do is to grab this plastic trim cover on the motor and take that off. It's really blocks your view and access over on this side of the engine where we're going to need to be doing a little bit of work. So, and that just, it's on like quick connectors with like a rubber ball mount, and it just pops up on each corner. There's 4 mounts, and you just lift up firmly and it'll pop right off. Super easy. So now we can see down into the belt area real easy, and way down there we can reach down there and disconnect the wire on top of the AC compressor, the tensioner for the belt right here. Alright, there we go, the wheel's off. We have 19 millimeter lug nuts on here to take that off with, just so you know. Alright, now we're going to start removing some of the bolts here, and here that hold this cover plate, or this splice guard here on. I believe those are 10 millimeters, and I really debating on going back. There's also some of these weird screw type push connectors there too. There's that center nut that holds the air conditioning clutch on. Once that nut comes off, this whole clutch should pop out. Once that pops out, this is the pulley. There's a snap ring that'll be mounted on the compressor shaft, and once the snap ring's off, the pulley may just slide right off, or it may require a puller. The center nut for the compressor clutch is 13 millimeter or ½ inch. You know how that works. Came right off, but I did use the battery powered impact wrench on it because the clutch plate. I guess this would be called the clutch plate. Came right off real easy. Behind the clutch plate, mounted to the compressor shaft, is this washer. But don't be fooled, that's not actually just a washer, that's a shim. Specifically set up for the thickness of the clutch plate and the pulley plate. And we need to save that shim and remember to put it back on when we put this together. Don't lose the shim. Let's remove the serpentine belt now. We have a 17mm socket mounted on a 1/2-inch breaker bar. Probably could have did this with a 3/8. I reach in there and put it in there, and I just roll it forward like that. See how it's rolling back and forth? Roll it forward, and I reach down there with my hand and pop the belt right off that pulley. Look at that. Alright guys, I think we're on the right track here. I don't know if you can see this, we'll try and focus in, but if you look at the plate there, we can see pieces of the coil windings coming through the pulley hub. Look at that. The coil has started delaminating and deconstructing itself. That's a good sign. That means that we're on the right track repair-wise here, and we still might be able to fix this without cutting into the AC system at all. I'm pretty hopeful here. Next step is to find the snap ring on the center face by those splines there, around the spine bearings actually. The bearing around the spine, there'll be a snap ring in there. We need to pop that snap ring off so we can pull that pulley off. Here's the pulley, and it came right off real easy with this little cheap double or triple jaw puller that I have. It's adjustable puller. Really inexpensive piece of equipment. It came right off of it. Alright, now the next step is to be to get the coil itself off. And you can see, look at that coil there. I don't know if you can see it very well, but all of the windings in it are starting to delaminate and come apart. And that's what's causing the circuit to fall out with a dead short to the ground as soon as we engage the voltage to it. Alright, this is our new AC compressor clutch coil here. These are a little bit different than some of the ones you've seen on the internet if you've watched. The escape ones, at least the ones on the hybrid, or maybe all of them, have this extra temperature probe that comes off the side. And this is a little inline temperature switch that I believe, it has continuity through it right now, so I'm thinking that's how it works, is if the compressor overheats, a thermal switch in here opens and causes power to shut off to the coil, turning off the air compressor. Before we start reassembling, we're going to take a soft wire brush. This one's like a bronze color one, and we're going to clean up the shaft area and the mounting area of the coil and pulley. Get it nice and clean and free of debris before we all start it back together. Well, there we go, all fixed. We're sitting in the car. I've got the air cranked down to all the way to 60 on recirculate because it's so humid out today. And it is, I know you can't see it, I don't have a little thermometer I can put here inside the cab, but it is amazingly cold right now. Even got my little dog, Puppers, with me. And he seems to like the air conditioning too, even though his tongue's hanging out. But yeah, it's a job you can do yourself. I took a few shortcuts that I probably wouldn't recommend, but it all seems to have worked out in the end. I think you could do this yourself too and save some money if you have a blowing fuse, or a fuse that keeps blowing for your air conditioning. Then this is likely the problem. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, because this one took me a long time, a lot of research and planning and a little bit of stress, and I'm happy it's fixed and working out because I enjoy having a nice cool car to get into after leaving the very hot factory where I work at. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye for now.